What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Friday. Happy sale. Happy cold and snowy day. Actually, it's not too cold outside. It's about 30 degrees. And it's going to get a lot colder and snowier here, though. So there you go. So what's been going on? Well, we've been selling some items. We did have kind of a down day there on Tuesday, but we're at 6 items today. The weird thing that has happened the last 2 days, and let's go a little higher because I'm down here. You can't see. I'm below the cursor. I keep forgetting that. So you can't see the charts sometimes if I don't scroll up like this. Anyways, the last 2 days, no organic sales. In 18 sales, none of them have been organic. I don't know if that's a reporting error on this page or if that's just what's going on. I don't know. I was looking back here, and as you can see, I had one day there while we were at time away, vacation mode, whatever. But there's 0 promoted. But yeah, I don't see any others. I don't know. Maybe it's just a weird thing that's going on right now. Maybe it's a reporting glitch. I don't know. So let's see how we're doing for just January. 1.9 sales conversion rate. These could be higher still. Yeah, my organic impressions are really low. I don't know. It could just be traffic slower, so the only way I'm getting views is through promoted. That's a real possibility. You know, a lot of people spend a lot of money during the holidays, so could just be where we're at. Um, One thing we could do is we could go back and look at last January. Kind of just, oops, yeah. Wow, I forgot what year it was there for a minute. So we were at 31 and 68 for last January, but you see how low these numbers are? And these ones? We're doing better. So let's just kind of, yeah, we're getting a lot of organic traffic in the first part. We're making a lot of sales though, were we? Here's a couple of zeros. So it could just be the time of year. There's another 0. That's why it's good to have this data. There's another 0. So it could just be the time of year. I don't really know. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and see. But let's go back to this year. And again, remember we had to go down to 10 listings per day going live. So far in 5 days, we're selling 10 a day on average. Our high was in November 13.3, I believe, a day or something like that. So, you know, we're not going to sell as many, I wouldn't think, only listing 10 a day, right? But the goal is get rid of the bad stuff and get onto the good, right? That's what we've been working for, and that's what we're doing slowly. So, as I mentioned last time, I wanted to talk about, you know, it's a new year, so it's a good time to set goals, right? I mean, it's been 5 days. You should already have set your goals. But so I've got some goals, and it's not a long list, but maybe some things that you want to do as well. So the first one is, of course, listing items every day. I want to make sure that we don't skip any days from having a listings going live. And I was trying to remember the last time I didn't post any listings for a day, and boy, it's been a long time, maybe a couple years now, since I've missed a day. And I think the last time I missed a day was I was on vacation and I forgot and I didn't have them scheduled. And so, but I think that's the only time I've missed a day. So we won't miss any days. So we'll list items every day of the year. I'd like to have a 3 to 4 week draft bank. Now, this gets tricky because at 10 a day, you know, that's only 210 to 310 items, right? And so 310 items, say your average buy cost is $4. It's $1,240. It's a lot of money sitting up there. It could be too much. So again, it depends on how many items. If you're listing 100 a day, that's thousands of items that aren't active, that are tied up just in your draft bank. But at the same time, it's good to have some of a draft bank. So maybe as you increase your listing goal, maybe that changes. Maybe it just goes to a certain amount of items. I only want to have a maximum of 300 items, and that'll just equal a different amount of time. Um, so the other thing I want to do is I want to spend 10 minutes a day looking at what sold for the prior day, or even that day, it doesn't matter, just what's sold. And what this will do is it'll give me an idea of what is selling in men's and women's clothing and the price ranges. It just will keep me engaged in what's going on eBay. And, maybe I'll discover some new brands. Maybe I'll discover styles of brands that sell faster than others, because we all know that exists, right? A certain pattern can help something sell, a certain material or fabric, um, even a certain cut can determine how something sells. And obviously, the time of year is going to determine what's selling too. So I really like to take a look at that, and just, I think doing that 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, it's almost an hour a week. Amount of knowledge you'll gain doing that over months and year, it's going to be phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good thing. The other thing, and this kind of ties into the draft bank, is 3 to 4 weeks supply of inventory. Now, again, this depends on how many items you're listing per day, because if you could end up having $3,000 to $5,000 tied up in your draft bank and your inventory. But again, it's good to have that draft bank for unknown events, and it's good to have backstock for unknown events, right? What if a company that you use or supplier you use goes out of business? Or what if the goodwill catches on fire? Or a host of other reasons, right? Um, it doesn't take much sometimes to really knock your inventory supply, and then you're like, ooh, I'm only down to one or two or three, which is why you should have more than one more supplier of inventory. Because when it's, let's just say, a guy buying storage units, well, what if he just stops or gets pissed off at you, or, a number of other things? You got to make sure you can still supply yourself with inventory, because that's the name of the game due to the eBay algorithm. If you didn't have to list if you didn't have to list items every day to keep up with the eBay algorithm, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal, because it would give you time to say, okay, I need to find a new supplier. But with the way eBay is ran, can't do that. They want that activity every single day. So you have to be grinding away every single day, right? And posting items. So 3 to 4 weeks supply of inventory, again, is going to depend on the dollar amount. And again, if you're banking $20,000 a month, it's really hurt to have $5,000 in inventory. You can handle it a lot more than you can if you're, say, like I am right now. I have a big store. Um, it's not giant. I mean, it's 5,000 items, so a little over 5,000. But having $5,000 in draft bank and inventory backstock, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So, yeah, so that's something we'll just have to look at. The other thing is to increase the sell-through rate of my items. Now, this is something we discovered last year. We really started last year. I feel like in 2023, I started digging in and understanding the sell-through rate and how that affects your store. Um, that's something that I never really looked at before. I'd heard about it a lot, but again, I think there's lots of components of this business, and I chose to focus on certain ones and master those, and then kind of move on to the next one. And sell through is something that I should have started with, because as we discussed before, even if it takes me an hour to list an item and I'm listing 5 items a day, they're good items, they're going to sell, and I'm going to get my money back quickly. Doesn't matter how fast you can list an item if that item is just sitting there for a year and a half. That just doesn't work. And There's a theory we can say, well, so you've been at this more than a year and a half. So now those items you listed a year and a half ago should start selling. And that is true, but what price, right? Because if they're taking that long to sell, it's probably a saturated market, so you have to sell for a lower price. So you're not really making that much money. And that's really the effect of having slow sell through rate items. It's like I always talk about a dollar in, how quick can I get it back? It takes me a year and a half. That's not good, and I'm getting less dollars back, as we're seeing with these lower price items that are taking, a year and a half to sell. So um, it's just something that I'm really going to continue to focus on, increase my knowledge on, and figure out how to get items to sell faster. Whether that's my pricing's a little high, maybe, or that is just, okay, now I know the items that are better. I need to find a source for them. And like I've said many times, we're always looking for a new source because we could use them. We only have, I don't know, we have probably three sources, really, I would say. If you really define them, we have about three sources where we get our items. Um, and one of those sources actually changed their business model a little bit. So it's not catered to us as more. They're selling a lot more of the lower end items, and I don't want that stuff. I don't want it. So we'll be continuing to look for new sources, new suppliers, I should say, for our inventory. And then the last one is increased profitability of the business. Ties into the increased sell through rate, right? Because if you're increasing your sell through rate, you're probably getting better items, and you're probably getting items that are going to sell for more, which in turn is going to increase your profitability. We can't be making $2 to $5 off an item. You can, but you have to sell hundreds of them. I would rather even double, even $10 profit per item, right? You would increase the profitability of the business so much. And that is going to happen. We have the items that are higher dollar amounts. It's just almost like the majority of my business is being absorbed by these lower end items. Because, right, if someone's searching for that item, I'm probably going to have the lowest price or close to it. So mine's going to show up. And I know they say, okay, well, eBay is not going to limit how many sales you can get per day. But at the same time, is eBay going to allow 25% of my store to sell? Even if, let's just say, let's just do a crazy scenario. Tomorrow I start listing 100 items per day, and I list 100 of the best items out there. How long is it going to take for eBay for my sales to catch up to my listing habit of 100 per day? It's going to take a while, even with the top tier best items. I'm not going to go from 10 days to sell 10 sales a day on average to 80. It's going to take probably months. So while I know eBay doesn't cap them, I'm not expecting suddenly my store to start selling 20 items a day, even as these lower end items are being depleted in my store. I think it is going to increase. I think it's just going to take some time. And I don't, I don't see my store all of a sudden selling way more than I'm listing per day. That's just my theory. Um, I obviously haven't tested that because I don't have hundreds of really good items to list every single day, and I don't have the manpower to do that. So I don't know. That's just my thought. I think it takes time to get those sales and to get them higher and higher and higher. That's what I've always seen in the way I run my business. Admittedly, I didn't always have the best items, but that's just what I think. So I think we can achieve all of these goals. I think they're very attainable. Um, it's going to take some work. I think the biggest one is going to be the biggest couple is going to be doing that 10 minutes with the solds every day. That'll increase my knowledge, which will affect the next two, which is my increased sell through rate and my increased profitability per item. So I think those three are going to require the most work. excuse me, and they're going to require the most education when it comes to, okay, here's a list of items. Which one's really good? What catches my eye? Oh, that sold for $40. Why? And then you kind of go down the rabbit hole. Um, and just I'll create a spreadsheet or something with a list, which I already have a lot of brands on a spreadsheet. But, you know, y- you can't always find those brands. Just because you make a list of, let's say, 100 different brands, I know my thrift store doesn't have all those. Like finding a vintage Ralph Lauren sweater at my store, my thrift, chances of that are pretty low. I just don't see that type of stuff. Finding a Wrangler Pearl Snap, I think every time I've gone into their thrift, I've found one. Not hard at all. So just again, it depends on your area, right? Now, if I go to a major city, I'm probably going to find that stuff. And, maybe that's something once my business partner moves here, maybe that's something we'll do once a month. Maybe we'll go 3 hours away to a major city or 4 hours away to a different major city and just make a thrift route, hit them all up. They should have bins. We could go to the bins. I mean, we could spend 3, 4 days there just grinding and get a bunch of inventory, So there are different ways to do it, just depending on how your business is set up, really, and the manpower and obviously the money you have. Um, but that is something that we may end up doing. Um, I also need to find a flea market. Now, I went to the flea market over the summer in one town that's 3 hours away. They didn't have anything that I saw that would really help propel my business to the next level. Um, that's not to say I won't go back this summer. It was a little bit of a scary situation almost. Like the people there were it was a pretty rough crowd of people, not the best place to be. Excuse me, not the best place to be. So I don't know. But there is another one in a town 4 hours away or city 4 hours away that I haven't gone to that looks really good. Um, and it was one of those where it's a newer flea too, because I think was last summer was like their third year doing it. So they're just getting established. They're getting more vendors. So this year, I think instead of them doing it like 2 weekends a month, I think they'll probably do it almost every weekend a month during the summer. So we'll be able to go and check that out. Um, I didn't get to see all the vendors, but just from the pictures, it does look like they do have some vendors that, it's like popcorn or, oh, I made these scarves or whatever, like that kind of almost bizarre type feel to it. So I'll be interested to see how much, if any, product there is that's, the kind of stuff that I can develop a relationship with someone that buys storage units or knows someone that liquidates or gets, whatever kind of inventory, where I could develop that relationship. Because that's really, I mean, that could be a home run relationship, right? So those are the kind of things we're looking for. And I should have wrote that down. That's another thing that we're going to look into, and that is finding more suppliers. That's definitely a goal for 2024 that I didn't write down. So I do have a couple of, like I just mentioned, outlets to bring in more suppliers. I have 2 cities. One's a half an hour away, one's 45 minutes away, that have different Goodwills, so I can check those out. Um, and then the flea markets I just mentioned. So I think between all that, it should be good. Now I know these. I don't have like I want to make $100,000. I have to sell 500 items a month. I have to list X amount per day, sell X amount per day. Just I have to list an X amount per day, sell an out X amount per day to make that 100K per month. I don't have a dollar amount because profitability covers the dollar amount. I just need to be profitable. How profitable? Good enough to cover my expenses. And I already know what those numbers are. So it's very easy to obtain. Now, I could set a really big goal, like $100,000 a month, to figure out all the math. And I may do that later. But right now, my main focus is 2023 was really about I really learned about my business, how to properly run my business, and what I need to do and the changes that I need to make. And so we made some of those changes. We made that change in November, I believe it was, maybe even December, where I was like, we're going to run out of money. We can't list 20 items per day, right? So we also made the change of taking out 4,000 items of our store roughly and saying, they're not good enough. Um, See ya. We need to sell them another way. So now we're kind of rebuilding. We are we are moving forward the right way now, and now it's like we're rebuilding the business. Even though we have 5,000 listings, it's like we're rebuilding the business the way it should have been built the first go around. And I think that's really going to pay off later this year when we're, hitting springtime and we're seeing that almost all those lower end items are gone. We've been for, by that point, 3 to 4 months, been putting nothing but good items in the store that are going to have a profit of, I don't know, let's say $7 on up, $9 on up, probably. Let me look. Hold on. Because I have my exercise sheet here. Yeah, I would say our profit margin will be $9 and up. So what this sheet is something Tech talks about. You go to the eBay sales calculator and start at $1. Figure out how much profit you make on $1. Well, if I sell something for $1, I know with all the cost, I make negative $3.74. I don't start making money until I sell something for $6, and at that point, I only make 26 cents. Right? That's on my average cost of goods. It's all that stuff figured out. It's a really important exercise to do. So if you don't know how to do it, um, Tech explains it in a few of his videos. I think it's called the 1 to 100 exercise. You can probably find it on one of his videos or his group or something. Well, I know it's in the group, but um, it's just a really good exercise. So I know that we'll at least be making $9 profit per item, at least, based on that sheet, because I know the sales price and I know that everything we're listing is meets or exceeds that sell price. So our business is going to take a huge change. Our ASP is going to start rising. Our profitability is going to start rising, uh, and things are going to turn around. So I'm really focused on, those, I would say those 4 goals: 10 minutes in sold, increase sell-through rate, increase profitability, find more suppliers, those 4 things. And then let's keep the store going and keep doing what we're doing to build it back up and just watch what happens. So last thing, you see everything's down. That's just us recovering from time away and going down on our um, listing goal. Geez, my mind went blank there. Going down on our listing goal. So it didn't really affect the impressions. It affected the page views and the quantity sold, though, right? That's to be expected. We'll get back there. We'll get back there. Um, I also think if you look, this is compared to the end of December. I think a lot of people were off work, we got a new off, spending more time on eBay, maybe using up some gift cards, maybe using up some holiday money they didn't spend. So I think that's probably why beginning of the year is so slow. Everyone is returning items. They are spending their gift cards online on different sites other than eBay, maybe. And they're going back to work, which probably not happy about because they've been off for a minute or two. So, anyways, that is going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your weekend. Just work on your goals if you haven't already. You don't have to get super detailed. Just keep it simple. You can work on getting detailed, later if you wish, or right now if you wish, right? But you got to have some goals for your business because that's the direction your business is going to go. I recommend posting them somewhere you can see them every day so you're reminded, hey, we're trying to take the business Think of it as a big boat. We're trying to take the boat this direction, away from the pirates, not towards them, right? So, yeah, I think it's really important to have them. So that's going to do it. Appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.